Hi everyone, Sherry here, and today I just wanted to share making this little Japanese knot bag. These are the bags that I've been making out of some recycled and some printed leather. I do this for a local artist here in the area, and this is my own pattern. There are tons of them out on the internet, but I didn't have one that, I couldn't find one that I really liked, so I made my own. To those of my subscribers that are card makers, I will understand if you unsubscribe. I'm no longer paper crafting. Sewing has always been my passion. I am a crafter, so us crafters do all the things, but sewing is the thing that brings me the most enjoyment. So if you come here for more card videos, paper crafting videos, I do apologize. I think going forward, I'm really going to focus more on my sewing and embroidery, and maybe even using my scan and cut. I don't know. We'll just see where it goes. So, anywho, I have my two pattern pieces, my two pieces of leather, and I'm going to start by sewing the top handles together. And I have the lights of the machine turned off, so hopefully there's no glare, and hopefully I stay within the frame. It's been a while since I've made videos, so past couple of days have been a little challenging in that respect. So the first thing we're going to do is sew the handles, and I'm going to back stitch and come to the other side and back stitch here as well. Trim my threads. I am a slow sewer, so if you leave in the middle of this, I don't blame you. Sometimes I get on my own nerves. The next thing I like to do is I like to go ahead and sew up this dart. So I'm going to line up the V-shape cutout, and then I always like to put a little clip here, and I'm folding the right sides together. Can usually get one of these sewn up in about 15 minutes. Trying to talk my way through it will probably take me a little bit longer. And we're going to sew up that V and all the way off the edge of the fabric. Always back stitch when we start and stop. Secure those stitches. And I'm a tail holder. Gotta hold my thread tails. I'm using about 1/4 inch seam allowance. So if you line up your fabric to the edge, outer edge of the outer toe, that is going to measure 1/4 of an inch. Next, I'm going to clip open these seams. I don't have a skiving machine yet. That's my next goal. But this leather is fairly thin and pliable, so I don't have many issues here. I'm going to clip both sides of the seam open. And then we're going to top stitch. Ooh, runaway clip. Okay, I can see here that my seam wants to open a little bit, so I'm going to restitch the beginning of this particular one, just because I don't like that. Okay. I think we got that fixed now. Well, I'm turning it inside out 2 or 3 times here. Okay. Alright, so next what we're going to do is we're going to top stitch the handles. The handles are going to be a single layer. So we're going to do the outside of the handle and all around the inside of the handle. And I always start on the short side. Doing about 1/8 of an inch seam allowance here. So if you line your fabric up to this right edge of that inner toe, that will give you about 1/8 of an inch. And I'm top stitching. I usually set my machine at 4.5 stitch length, and that's what I keep it at. For the particular products that I've been making, that particular stitch length looks really nice, so I haven't had a need to change. Now I'm going to back stitch a couple. And there's our short side. And now I'm going to do the long side. And back stitch a couple. Back stitch, and those are done. Generally, I will cut the thread on the inside, and then I will use the thread zap for the threads on the outside. And I think I need a new battery. Definitely need a new battery. It's an early morning, so my voice is a bit ragged. I always try to get at least one of these done before I have to go get ready for work. Most times two. And then I can come home, do another couple before I go cook dinner. So now we're doing the inside. And I'm holding this seam open down here while I try to top stitch over it. And sometimes that still doesn't hold it because it gets caught there on the feed dogs. I just take my scissor and go up under there and flatten it out. And now I'm just going to follow that inside curve, just turning slowly, walking the foot slowly. Okay, on the straightaway here. I'm up to my next seam. Make sure that stays flat. And this one didn't want to stay flat either. And approaching that curve, I'm just going to go slowly around the curve. And here I'm going to go ahead and cut both threads, top and bottom, because I will be back stitching at the end, so that will secure that top thread that I cut as opposed to zapping. And we're almost back to where we started. So, I'm going to back stitch. And that one's done. Here I'm going to cut the inside stitch. And then I will zap this outside one. And now we're going to put it all together. So I take down here at the bottom at both the darts, and I'm going to flip the seam one way on the bottom one and in the opposite direction on the top. And I'm going to clip those together. Then I'm going to match up the side notches. And I like to put one little clip right up here in the handle just so this doesn't slide. This particular leather is a little slick. And just clip around the bottom. I'm going to go the opposite side. Line it up. Again, I'm going to clip one up here on the handle. And now we're going to sew the bottom of the bag together, starting at our little notch right up here, lining up the edge with the outer right foot, a couple of stitches, back stitch, and then we're just going to continue around. When I get here to the darts, I like to reach under, make sure the bottom one is turned away from me, top one is turned towards me, and then I'm going to come across that seam, just get across it, and then I'm going to back stitch. That keeps me from having that little, when you turn it, if you don't back stitch, you'll have a little tiny hole there where it doesn't fit together quite as tightly as it will if you back stitch. Okay, we're coming on around up to the end, back stitch, clip our threads on both sides. And then all that's left is to turn it through. Very easy. And I'm just going to push out the sides. I guess you could do an 1/8 of an inch seam allowance on the inside. Probably would if this was a little bit thicker, but these are fine. So there you have your little Japanese knot bag. So you put the longer handle in the smaller handle, and there you go. All right. Thanks for joining. I'll see you later. Bye now.